Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. This is TMI if you're just joining us, and today we're taking a look at the 2023 elections, the zoning question, or the factor of zoning. That's what's been happening. If you go through our papers, you get to see reactions and counter reactions making the rounds about how 2023 will look like. You get to hear some parts of the northern oligarchs saying, look, it doesn't matter where you're from. As long as you can take Nigeria from this level to the next level, whoever the person is, from the north, south, east, or west, we're going to come out in mass to support that person. From the southeast, you get to hear things like it's our turn right now to occupy that #1 position. It cannot go back again to the same persons or people or sect that just ruled. So many questions begging for answers. It's all about the general election that is forthcoming with zoning in focus. Both APC and PDP, they're trying to permutate to see how they can really satisfy the yearnings of Nigerians. With me here in the studio, he was a one-time local government boss. Yes, a local government chairman of Umuwanda local government. Join me to welcome Honorable Napoleon Agbama. Welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
Good morning.
I appreciate your coming. All right. So very close to him, he is a vibrant youth, an entrepreneur, and of course a politician. Join me to welcome Stanley Usaze. Welcome to TMI on this edition.
Thank you very much, Winston, for having me.
All right. Honorable, I'd like to start off with you in this particular discourse because you are there in the field of politicking. Whenever you think about 2023, what comes to your mind? Let's start off from there.
Thank you very much. What to my mind is for God Almighty to give us a very fair election that will be acceptable by everyone in the country. That's what I wish, that we have a very peaceful election next year.
Peaceful election next year. All right, Stan, what comes to your mind?
Yes, first and foremost, we needed a peaceful election in this country, but I think there are different strategies in ensuring peace. You first of all have to look at the peace in itself, the strategic mechanism put on ground to ensure such peace, and peace enforcement in totality. Now, if you want peace to prevail in an election, every politician must invest in the peaceful process. Any unnecessary manipulation, inciting statement must be jettisoned in all ramification. So if peradventure we refuse to do all that, believe you me, we're only creating a fiery furnace that may burn everybody in 2023, and we don't pray to have such. So I think all and sundry, including every politician, must work towards that. But in the course of our discussion, I overheard you saying that the northern group said this, the northern group said that regardless of whichever way this person is from, they are going to give them support for as long as the person can move Nigeria forward. Why that statement now? In the past, you agitated for your zone. Now it has gotten to a stage where you are going to take it to another zone. You are not saying we are looking for who, because they already have a strategic mechanism in their mind that certainly we are going to bring in our person. And because of the fact that they have already ruled now, they are now agitating to say we are only fighting for an egalitarian society. Let anyone who has the capacity come in. Already, there's a political strategy within their mindset. I know in the course of our communication, we are going to deliberate on that.
All right. Now, he talked about political strategy in the minds of some oligarchs in the north. Yeah, going to permutation and combination, they've ruled for 8 years from calculation. But does it really matter? Should zoning be a factor when we want to talk about the #1 man of the country?
Zoning is so very, very important. And it's a very important factor. One has to look at it from the body in Nigeria. We are made up of different tribes. We are made up of different religions. Therefore, zoning is very important, very necessary. Though it's not written in our constitution. The understanding, the arrangement, to me, is more powerful and serious than what is there in the constitution. To give every segment of the society that make up the country to feel belong to a electoral process. Like he said just now, I do not believe that there is any zone in the country that have no a very good, capable person that can rule this country. We have. It only depends on how
for the electorate on the how to choose from those that are capable. Yes, rotating it between the south and the north is very, very necessary. Otherwise, the country will have,
All right.
will have that problem.
Okay. But some of the people are that we should look at pedigree. That right now have gone beyond looking at people from a particular region. We should look at capabilities. We should look at someone that can really bring the country into the limelight. Someone that is detribalized. Someone that has it upstairs. Technically speaking, economically speaking, just to push Nigeria forward. Now, if you take a look at party permutation, it's like some are already tending towards that dimension. What do you have to say about this?
First and foremost, you also recognize the fact that in every zone, there are competent aficionados in leadership. So it is not peculiar to a specific territory. So even if you are saying you are looking for the best in a territory, you must have them. It is there. Are you getting the point? But what is the current political context as far as Nigeria is concerned? You look at the heterogeneity of population. And when the level of heterogeneity, such as what we have today in Nigeria, is so conspicuous, there is need for you to put in modalities in place so that everybody will feel the sense of belonging. Now let's go beyond the physical. Let's look at the existing political structure in Nigeria. Right from 1960 to date, after the Nigerian Civil War, you will agree to the fact that a specific clan has been relegated to the background. Although the government has then declared no victor, no vanquish, which simply means that everyone who went into such war will be seen as a victorious personnel. But is that really reflecting the political situation in the country today? So, believe you me, those in that part of the country believe that they have been relegated to the background. How will you now manage this kind of situation to ensure that every of the citizens tag along with the trend, compared to a situation where you have an homogeneity of population? But in this case, the level of heterogeneity is very wide. So the only panacea to address the situation is to ensure that everybody have the sense of belonging. How will you do that? The leadership of the country must get to all facets, all tributaries of the nation, so that at the end of the day, every available citizen from within the purview of a specific territory will see the need to call him, his or herself, a Nigerian. Very firstly, let me state it clearly. The hope of becoming a Nigerian president as Osakwe, according to me, is not possible. The height we can get to, for Jonathan to be a president of this country was luck. How can you tell me 300,000 persons will make you a president of a country where you have over 200 million population? A 300,000 persons in Bayelsa is certain in your local government. It can't be possible, except God decided to say, you are going to be there. I don't know if you are getting me. But when you are from some part of the country, you also agree to the fact that some fragment of the country believes that they are not being tagged along with the trend. So the only panacea for you to address such situation is to ensure that the leadership structure gets to all nooks and crannies of the country. But first and foremost, beyond the election in itself, are we not checking the fact what are they militating against us as a people? Now, in terms of the leadership, we have lack of sagacious political leaders. The second one is not enlightened and egalitarian citizen. Ordinarily, if citizens are enlightened to the level at which it is expedient, believe you me, the leadership of this country will not be acting like this. Now, the citizens are now relevant because 2023 election is coming. After the election, what happened next? When government or politicians are thinking of the next election, citizens are thinking of their future. Now, that is why you see, if an election will be going on, a politician will say, if you try what happened in 2020, in 2023, you will see. If you try what happened, whether you get to 2023 or not, the politician will not think about that. They think of the next election and not what will happen next in the country. What every citizen needs from government: road, light, and water. But to date, my forefather asked for it. We have not seen it. My father asked for it. We have not seen it. We have asked for it now. We have not seen it. And our children is about asking for it. Because I have a local government chairman right here with me, I want to manage this situation because we are from almost the same local government. I will not want to bring in any discussion, but beyond, after here, the both of us are going to sit and interact. I'm going to ask him some few questions in respect of how far he has delivered to the people he managed as a then. But for now, let us just sit in that and remain focused in respect of why we are here. So the truth of the matter is simple. Not until when Nigerians begin to ask questions, how are you managing our resources? On a daily basis, we hear in the House of Assembly, $50 million, $30 million, so and so $1 million, and we have Naira in this country. Nobody discusses about Naira. It's all about billion of dollars. Where are this money? Where are they going to? You are not calling or mobilizing the citizens again to come out in 2023. How long do we need to continue to vote before we begin to get the right thing in this nation? People are suffering. Are you aware that poverty can make somebody look like a madman? Poverty. Anything when you talk about correct again. So we are advising all and sundry. Citizens must be ready to be enlightened so that we can put these politicians to check, including myself. I've told you about non-enlightened and egalitarian citizens. We are talking about ineffective legal machinery. What about the legal machinery in the country? Are they meeting up to expectation? We said the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. What is happening today? Judgment can easily be subjugated against those who actually ought to have prevailed in a legal litigation, as the case may be. But we don't want us to digress. But whenever we are discussing about Nigeria, believe you me, anger always comes into me, because politicians always see the relevance of the talakawas during the run-up of such election. But after that, you will never see them again. As we speak now, call any politician, they will pick your call. But immediately after the election, no one will pick. So am I lying? That is the truth. Thank you.
It's not about him right now. It's not about him.
Yes, he's a close ally of mine. But I don't want to discuss anything on the media. But he knows that we are going to see and discuss about it.
If you go to the page of the paper, like the Punch newspaper, I can just bring it out. What Ohaneze told the northern geopolitical zones. Someone said, look, if you try to retain power, the country will sink. That was the comments. That was how the papers, painted that particular headline, saying if you try to retain power to the north, the country will sink. Honorable, I want you to take it up from there. All right, Ohaneze to the northern, geopolitical zone in Nigeria. I'm trying to bring up that paper right now. So you really said it, but continue to react to that comment.
Thank you very much. You know, when you asked at the beginning, my wish for 2023 election. I said my wish is that we have a peaceful election. And that statement is pregnant with so many diversions. You see, like he said, there is no zone in the country today that cannot produce a very capable hand that will run this country. You know, in one of your programs here, when we talk about direct and indirect
primaries. Yes.
I told you that personally I support direct primary, in the sense that that will give every political party membership to nominate somebody they trust that can handle either their state, their local government, or the federation. And from that process, we'll be able to know if you are taking Edo State, for instance, political party A, we know those who are really capable of handling the state, to bring the state heaven. Yeah. And the same thing with the country. And if we do that, I think it will equally help those who don't have that billions, that millions, that one can use, one or two persons can use to hijack, if when you now talk of just few people to go and nominate. And these are the problems. I do not support those who will be yearning that power should be retained there in the north. I do not support, because we must rotate it. That will give us a sense of belonging from every tribe, from every region, from every state, if we rotate the power.
If we rotate the power. Now, the comment by this particular group of Hanese and Debo, is it not too harsh? Understanding. For what chairman said, okay, for what honorable said, yes, past chairman, what honorable said, he said everyone should surely have a bite in that particular direction, talking about the position of power, the number one man in the country, rotation. But here is this group, some people are saying that this is like, a threat, that you're trying to threaten the country or threaten that particular group. Don't they have the right to present a candidate, even if they want to say share?
First and foremost, I would like to trickle our memory back to history, where the man who lived 300 years before Christ, Aristotle, once said that politics is the science of collective happiness. Man by nature is a political animal. To me, I strongly believe that even as much as we are supporting the zoning process, such inflammatory and exciting statement by this man from Ohanese, not the entire Ohanese, because I do not think that he has the capacity whatsoever to speak on behalf of Ohanese. But this kind of person should be in jail immediately, because those statements is enough to create political imbroglio in a nation. Ordinarily, the world will not be able to contain Nigerian refugee if there is war in this country. In the next 50 years, Nigeria becomes president across the world because of the fact that the level of population density that we have in this country may not be managed by all other countries around the world. So the need to, if you protect and secure Nigeria, you have secured Africa. That's the truth. But let's look beyond that. To me, I strongly believe that, as I've earlier said, such a person should be placed into, or it should be invited by the DSS immediately to go and explain why using such statement in a national political template such as ours that's already boiling gradually. You also agree to the fact that within the mindset of all Nigerians, majority of persons don't like themselves in respect to clans and region. So in this case, we must watch the kind of statement we make. So to me, I believe that the zoning will help in a small way to really make every Nigerian feels the sense of belonging. Because when, for example, but even if you are zoning, anybody that must occupy the position of a Nigerian president must be ready to see Nigerian as one. Under the tutelage of the Jonathan administration, he displayed such quality. Let's forget about political affiliation or party affiliation, as the case may be. Jonathan acted as a true Nigerian president. I could recall that majority of the Amajiri school was built in the north. To date, the number of government presence in some of the northern states is even greater than what we have in Bayelsa, where happens to be his home state. So beyond that, a true president that we must have must be a president, it must be a people-oriented president. How are you going to get a people-oriented president? First and foremost, Nigerians are making a very big mistake when we set our hope on two major political parties. I was a member of the All Progressive Congress, and as of today, I'm a strong ally of the governor of Edo State, His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki, and a full member of the People Democratic Party. But I must tell you the simple truth. Nigerians must look beyond party to get the right man to do this job. We have great men. Now, how come? I would not want to castigate anybody. I don't want to talk about anybody vying for position. Every Nigerian has a right to vie. But to some of us, we are thinking that what we are seeing currently today is a reloaded Buhari third term through other processes. We will not mention names.
That's your own opinion.
Yes,
because people will disagree to that.
Excuse me, sir. It is my opinion, and I reserve the right to express my opinion. I did not say what she said. I said I believe, which simply makes it my opinion. So we must be very, very careful. Don't we have great thinkers? It's not about young or old, but we need thinkers who can really address problems. We have so many academic gladiators. We have, apart from academic gladiator, because to me, I strongly believe that education is simply the lifelong learning process of experience within or outside the school, which aim at the development of an individual to be mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, and intellectually fit. So it does not necessarily mean that you must be an academic gladiator before you can become a true leader. There are leaders that is inborn. Leadership a true leader must have wisdom to manage both negative and positive altercation. Whichever way I use that statement, I know you understand what I'm trying to buttress. So the point being made is very explicit and clear. Nigerians must be ready to look beyond party to get the right man. And if political party refuses to do what is right, please jettison the big political party and look for those who can better address the problem of our country. If you never tire, me, don't tire. All right,
sir. I will come back to you. Honorable, both of you have been talking about zoning. Many people be like, yes, let's zone it. But a particular sector, according to reports and observation, they've been negated. We'll talk about the north, of course, south, southwest. What about the southeast if we're truly for zoning? Some of the opinion that is their turn to occupy that position. What do you feel about this assertion and this theory? If we want to go by zoning.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like I said, zoning is the best. But it then depends on, are we going to be zoning it between north and south or between the regions? Or also, we have those zones. Yes. Are we going to be rotating among the geopolitical zone, or are we rotating between the north and south? Yes, like I've heard opinion from people between north and south. If it's coming to the south, it now depends on we that are in the south, which are the area in the southern Nigeria that have not enjoyed that privilege. Then let's give it to them. And that is why I'm talking seriously about that direct primary. It will not be left for people, probably from those zones, to first of all do like what Babangida did during that two-party, SDP and NRC. Yeah. From your wards. If you want to contest as a president, go back to your wards. Whether in party A or in party B. Go and fight, and if you get it, you are now representing your local government. From your local government to your state, from your state down like that. So that we can get credible persons. And to me, that was costless than having somebody about a group of people just coming out to say, we are going to nominate the president, we are going to nominate the governor. Very few people, which the money back can easily hijack. If you now go by that, I think it's the turn of the South. Let the Southern leaders sit down. Which area is it from southeast, from southwest, or from south-south? So just like that.
But from analysis, the southwest have gotten a bite of Basanjo. South-south also. Jonathan, what about the southeast? If you want to go by zoning?
That's what I'm saying. If you go by zoning, say yes, it's the turn of the southeast. The southeast have to quickly put their ass in order. Bring out a candidate that will be accepted by the generality of the Southerners before the general Nigeria.
All right, Stan.
Ordinarily, to me, they should give it to the southeast, but the southeast have not organized their political structure properly.
Are you the one speaking?
Yes, I will tell you why. Excuse me. Yes, they are supposed to be the one to rule now. You can't change that. That's the truth. But why did I say they've not organized it? We could recall that under the tutelage of the Obasanjo administration, they were giving this lot of Senate President Chuba Okadibo removing Brother, this one removing him, then Kenuna Mani, and so on. We know the number of changes that took place in the. Are you getting the point? From within them. Are you getting the point? So that is why I am saying that that house should be put in order. But beyond that, we are talking about election. What is happening to the federal structure of this country? While we are agitating for the election, why don't we push for true federalism? What is happening to the federating unit in this country? Now we mimic America, that we are operating a federal system of government, a bicameral legislative system, as the case may be, where every region, we know the American democratic process, every region has strong power, every state has a role to play. Now in terms of resource management, everybody donates to the center. Royalty is paid to the center. But what is happening today in our federating unit? Outside Igbo Yoruba politics, we have refused to see ourselves as a nation. We have refused to do what is right. Now, right from when oil was detected in the south-south region of this country, it became in national resources. Not until recently, when you have boundary case, we never knew that there was gold in Zamfara. It has never become a national resource till now. What is happening? Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So while we are agitating for 2023 to have president from this zone, that zone, let us as well tag along with the trend, a true federalism that will help in no small way to better our nation. Now let me give you a classical example. Today in Edo State, just a single policy by the federal government changed the security architecture of the state. We can use that as a classical example. This is the only first UTEC period that no strong crime incident was recorded because of the VGN, the vigilante network. That's to tell you, if you give room for state police and you give room for true federalism, believe you me, those who are committing crime are within communities. And why do you think that vigilante is capturing this set of people, bringing down their strength? Is because the vigilante is from the community too. A policeman from Zamfara State, if a gun is shot in a Igwomo community, for an example, he needs Osakwenokwodi to tell him that kind of shot is only from Osakwenokwodi or from Festus.
But when the policeman is not aware, we say, give me information. But when the security information is from the people, it helps to reduce the threat of security. That's why today I'm very proud to be a member of the vigilante group. But the truth of the matter is this: let us agitate, let us push forward for a true federalism. If not, we'll continue to record election without progress. Now, let me give you one truth. We have what we call growth. It's separate from development. Growth is in quantitative measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. While development is in qualitative measure. The question is, what is the quality of life of Nigerians?
We'll come to that. We'll come back. Still dwelling on the 23 election, the zoning question. From what he said this sects they are not ready. But some of them are saying that they are ready. And some are already indicating interest that they want to come out to vie for the presidency. So what is preventing them if zoning ought to be followed, Honorable?
Thank you very much. Like I said before he started, I do say that if it is the turn of the Southeast, they have to put their hearts in order. And that is what is just elaborate, which is the truth. A situation where they themselves make it very difficult for people, onlooker, who is going to support them. They are making it more difficult for those people to even say, are we going for this or going for that? They should go and put their hearts in order. Like he said in one of our programs here, we have talked about the importance of state policing, where we talk about the vigilante, using Edo State, as I said just now, as a case study. That is why today everywhere is very peaceful. And in nominating whoever that will represent a region, for instance, if they want to give it to South-South, we in the South-South, we know those who are criminals that we will never allow to be our president. Whether you have the billions, that we know those who is very capable of ruling this the country. Like he said, education, we know the basic requirements. And those, even if he doesn't have, he's not a PhD holder, he's not a professor, and we know that, yes, he has the basic, and he's capable of handling the country. And we know them. The same thing in the East. But those who knows, who can equally easily say, yes, this is the person we want to send, they will be removed because of, if they now use it direct or consensus. Indirect or consensus is for the big people. It's not for the generality of the people. So when you now say direct primary, that will give room for a market woman, the businessman, farmer, who are members of that political party, to say, yes, John will be capable of ruling this country. And that is why the other day I said, direct primary would have been better in nominating whoever that will rule this country. Almost half of those who will be voters later has now nominated him. And you will see that it will be very credible. That is how Abiola and
Tofa
came about. And today we are still saying it's one of the best systems, though it never come to reality. So me, I believe strongly that the problem of Nigeria have to be on table, which is having a national conference, that all regions, every other person, segment, tribes and whatever will be represented. And let's talk about how do we move forward in this country. Like he rightly said just now, that is where every segment of this country can now come out to say, this is how we should not be, and this is what we should be. He talked about what Zamfara, whether they are getting gold or whatever just now. There are other minerals everywhere in the country. Because of earlier discovering of oil and oil boom, the Nigeria closed their eyes to even agriculture. Even if we cannot drink oil, but there is no day you don't eat. But we close our eyes to agriculture every other areas because we were now making money from oil. Now that every state, every area is trying to diversify into other areas, and that is why everybody is yearning for it now. We have not taken cue from America's system of presidency.
Yes.
If we have taken cue from America's system of presidency fully, Every region, there are some regions that will be financially so buoyant that will be helping other areas. That because the state or the federal that we are all fighting to go into now will be weak. And we will be begging people to even go in there because they want to be in the state or in the region where they have the money. So that is where we must get to quickly go into table. Jonathan did it, but it was not implemented. To the conclusion, we are not even seeing from because it was close to election and whatever. And since that time, nobody have talked about it. The National Assembly, to me, they are not even helping matters. If they are helping matters, they will be able to organize and say, where do we move forward? How do we move forward in this country?
Right. How do we move forward in this country? Right now, let's take a look at the INEC question. Still on zoning. If you take a look at the head of INEC, people will be like he's from a particular zone. So should that be rotated also to have at least a free, fair, credible election, or hold the cap straight?
Before I direct that, I was already prepared to estray on the immediate matter on ground before you came out with the INEC. I'm going to discuss about that. But first and foremost,
We must identify a statement
called favoritism.
in getting true leader, the president, governor, local government, member, whatever.
We must first of all jettison favoritism. We have many competent...
Stan, are you saying that favoritism is what is at play right now?
I will explain now.
All right.
We have many competent aficionados
In leadership across all tributaries of the state. The question is, who do you know? One. The next one is nepotism.
Yes, now John, you don't know John, so and so, now he can be that. Now John, yes, enter.
Whereas the more qualified persons are on ground, throw them away. The question still falls on, who do you know?
So if you want a better leadership, you must first of all jettison these two. Let me tell you the truth. When they say Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder, it is not as if Nigerians want to fight Nigerians.
You cannot be the only rich person in a territory when everyone knows that you benefited immensely from our collective wealth and you want to live in peace. So that is what we are guiding against. Let these leaders build a better Nigeria. If not, as we speak today, abroad is no longer safe because our brothers and sisters in abroad are so numerous to mention. If you misbehave, you carry your picking, go there, they'll beat and come back. A time is coming. Now, if before the Senate begins to run head scatter to begin to organize and say, hey, when this guy, the former deputy Senate president, was touched in the Western world, they begin to say, okay, let's put modalities in place to see how we do. Before that, again, the NSAS, we know what happened in this country. If this government fails to do what is right, believe me, it's a threat to the nation. And it's not going to be a threat between citizens and citizens. It's going to be a threat between citizens and political gladiators. Everyone should learn. Now, what the rotation of INEC, see, let me tell you, when an institution is strong, an individual cannot manipulate it. What we have in Nigeria is strong men and not strong institutions. So whether you are from, now let me tell you, the president of the United States might come with bad intention. The institution will force him to do what is right. This is the only country when even the president, if he kills somebody, nobody can ask him. They will call immunity clause. Who can charge the president? Who can take him to court? Nobody. For now, nobody. Everyone must wait for the administration to end. Ask them why did they put such in place. They will tell you that it's just to guide and protect the president to prevent any form of distraction. What is happening to the Federal Character Commission? Why did we establish it? Is that not limiting the carrying capacity and intelligence of the Nigerian people? Now, let me give you a classical example. Sometime in 2007, 2008, within that range, I went to Federal University of Technology, Mina, FUT. I said, I want to apply for I want to further my education in that school. I actually read urban and regional planning in Auchi Polytechnic. I said, okay, let me go and consolidate in that institution. On getting there, I have all the qualification. Everything was with me. Do you know what? There is a language used, catchment area. Catchment area. Somebody from the north will not even get anything, get admission. But we have separate standards. Even in JAM, the level where they take the entire school for, they know what they use here. It's a separate issues. So when you have variation in the level of application, believe you me, you are already pushing the country into a keg of gunpowder. So to me, rotating the INEC or not is not the issues. Let us build the INEC. Let's give it independence. Now, look at what happened in the CBN under the tutelage of Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi. Right. It was because of the fact that the CBN, to some extent, has some level of independence. That was why it was able to rival the president.
But you not answer the question about INEC. Should there be rotation also?
No, for now, I don't care about rotating INEC. Build the institution properly. Nobody, even if your brother, you are contesting an election as the president and your brother is the INEC chairman, he can manipulate it. But when your brother is stronger than the institution, he's going to manipulate it in your favor.
Okay, Honorable, the same question I want to throw at you right now. Should INEC, talking about the chairman or the boss, be rotated? Because some are saying we just cannot have a man that's from this zone organize the election which the man from that zone is involved with.
I agree totally with you on that INEC. If you have a very strong institution, you have the laid down rule. Everything is there. It's like what we were talking the other day, whether INEC can transmit right from the unit level results down to local government or whatever. And they said they are capable. And while they are doing that, every person, not even political party members now, every Nigeria will be collecting the results. Before the full announcement, everybody will know those, the person that has one. And it will be difficult for one man to manipulate because the process is a genuine process, is strong. But it is only when you have people, where you have a very weak institution, like you said, that people can always manipulate, and that is where you can talk of this problem. You heard when he mentioned about state police and federal police. Like he said, which we have earlier discussed here during one of your program. Somebody from Sokoto being a DPO here, apart from around his office, he doesn't know what is obtaining in the area that is a DPO, because he is not an ADG. Whereas a local vigilante, the moment a criminal walks into that territory, is already identified by them that this person is a criminal. This is his activities. So the same thing, when you talk of INEC or whatever, every other person, eyes are out there. If this institution is very strong, whoever that is going there must work according to the rule and regulation. And that will not give a problem.
So no matter the region,
it will not give any problem, like he said, if this institution. But if it had been previously or whatever been manipulated by those that are there at the top, then one can be yearning that my brother must be an NEPES.
Sorry now to interject. Now take a look at Nigeria, for example. Talk about strong institution and of course strong men in this country. Take a look at the institution. Do we have a strong institution? If your answer is no, do you think that that position should be rotated for equity and justice?
Well, to me, I think it's one of the developmental process. When people are talking of civil rule in Nigeria, I believe that civil rule really started in 1999 in Nigeria. Yeah. The period we are now. All others that probably after some few years, the military will come on board and remove or whatever. I don't count them as part of the process. So if you compare the years we have been with other developed countries, and even America that we are imitating, you see that we are still a baby. And I believe with time we are going to get there. I believe the only thing we need to do quickly is either the National Assembly themselves take it over to call all the regions together and say, how do we move forward? Or the president call for a national cover, so that where we can debate all this area that we talk about, both revenue and whatever generation, and how we now share how it is going to be. Even the security, a lesson have been there now, since this problem of farmer, herdsmen, and Boko Haram, whatever. you see, the local people will be able to identify whoever is a bad element in their community more than a stranger taking a Doma to go to Sokoto or taking a Sokoto person to go to Delta. You know, it will be difficult for such person to even come the proper within the community, less talking of identify the criminals within our midst. So we must give thought to that state police in order to move forward in terms of security. And that is what we need. Either the National Assembly take it over or let the presidency itself call for a national cover where Nigeria can discuss.
Over to you, Stan. Yeah.
This is the only place where I'm going to have a divergent view from my leader here, my immediate past chairman. First and foremost, the crops of leaders that we have in this country cannot take Nigeria to a developed state. Let's just note that. If you know this, you are going to live in peace.
Don't forget that you two, you are among the leaders.
Good.
So you're among them also.
I have not removed myself since we are discussing.
Okay.
In fact, I use myself as a classical example. First, Nigeria can only develop through eye service with the crop of leader that we have now. The one here today, we say, oh, the previous one ate your money. Let me tell you the real truth. He is still going to steal, but now he will be working to prove the other one as an evil man. Then in the process of that rivalry, you will be seeing leapfrogging development. Now, the civil rule that we are talking about, believe you me, to me, he drew this country back again to the Stone Age. The theological stage, the metaphysical stage. We have not gotten to the scientific positive stage where modern medicine helps to address problems. And we are astray. Now today, we have 10 Million Bridge, which is still the longest bridge today in Nigeria. The East-West Bridge Road has been built for so many years now. Till now, they are still building it. It's yet to complete. But the military, under the tutelage of Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, who we all crucified, to date, go and look at the infrastructure built by military, compare it to these ones that we have today. The insecurity today in Nigeria came in democracy. Now this time, now you go see you to go Benny Beret, go back, go say CUIB. Can you try it in 1993, 1992, 1991? As bad as military, they didn't sell fuel up to 20 naira. In this country, a president said a man who can buy a bottle of beer at a cost of 150 should be able to buy fuel. Which government has ever reduced fuel price in this country apart from late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua? So, the civil rule that you are talking about, the Agbada government has returned Nigeria back to Stone Age. They have not done anything. It is the truth. But this truth is always bitter. Majority of people will not accept it. They will tell you, in the National Assembly, we are the... See, this country is not moving forward. It's the truth. The earlier we agree to this,
I will respond to that.
and the better for us. Now, let me tell you again, with all due respect to all of us, even if some selected persons are feeling happy, because I have noticed something in lithium wealth. You know what I've noticed? When you are saying lithium money, you will be thinking that everybody is comfortable. But that is not true. You are enjoying does not mean that the next man is enjoying. And if you are enjoying and enjoying and enjoying and enjoying, and the next man with you is not enjoying the totality, believe you me, you are placing yourself under risk. Let's be factual. Those who have benefited from the democratic process will advocate that it's good. It is good. Democracy is the best governance system. But the disadvantage for those who understand it is that the right person might not win. For those who did government in school, international politics, international relations, you also agree to the fact that the disadvantage of democracy is that the right person may not win. How will you have access to the seat of power when you don't know the leader of your local government? The leader of your name is not in the good book. Let me tell you, if you want to become governor or president or anything in this country, it is somebody's house, not from the Nigerian people. People must sit to say, Onarieva, Onariedian. Now this one, you go there. You, may you go so and so, please. Why will you be sharing our position? Who gave you the impetus? Who gave you the impetus? The truth of the matter is simple. They are going to have problems with people like us in the future, but certainly not now. Thank you.
Wow. You said you want to react to a statement.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I want to
Tonogo.
react that I
Yes.
don't agree totally with him. I don't agree with him.
Yes.
You see, the problem we have in this country, like I said, we are still a baby. A situation like you just mentioned. Let's take a cue from still Babangida or so. We have council election across the nation without, on individual level, without no party. You understand? We can still go to that era if through this party now, through direct labor, direct primaries. Direct primary will give opportunity for every individual that are make up that party to say Mr. A or Mr. B is our own candidate. A situation where few people now go and select, that is where that problem you talk about can come in. You talk about that government are not working or people are not working. Yes, you refer to military era and whatever. Military era, the freedom of speech you have today, you don't have it. You don't have that freedom of speech. You don't even have freedom of association, is even not fully there. The population you have today, you do not have it even 10 years back. Nigeria population is swelling on a daily basis. Therefore, the planning must be there for this increase in population. And that is where you now think that the government, probably they are not working. Government is working, but unfortunately, the needs of the people are enormous, that most of the activities to our people too has failed. You have talked about how can a right candidate go in there. Who choose the people? Me and you.
No.
Okay, if we now go to election, if we now go to election, we have up to 3-4 parties, or even more than that, in the last previous presidential election that presented a candidate. You see that what you see outside as 2 or 3 political parties are the one that people are rallying around. Why? Because they probably, like the last election, I saw where other parties were sharing money. SS and DSS were arresting people that were sharing money. And people were collecting. When you now say, no, I must go and collect that money. Who are you now going to blame? So we have to educate ourselves too when you are talking of electoral process, electoral time. So that, look, if you take money and you now elect a wrong candidate, don't blame the political party or don't blame the leaders or whatever. Blame yourself that have to take money from somebody to elect a wrong candidate. So let a right candidate go in. Right candidate can only go in if we educate ourselves, that orientation is there for Nigerians to choose rightly during the election. Let me even tell you now, today, people are preaching, I hear from radio, television, everywhere, they are preaching that let people go and register. There are so many people who have not even registered. But tomorrow, how are you going now to select from those that will come out to say they want to be your governor, they want to be your president? Your vote alone can bring a difference.
Let me quickly respond to that. First and foremost, the reason why you are seeing voter apathy in Nigeria is because politicians have created problem. That's one. I voted the last time, I voted the other time, I voted the other time, still no results. And you tell me to come out again. And in the process, maybe 1 or 2 persons died, and you want me to come out again. Voter apathy must be there because politicians have not been able to deliver what is expected to the citizens. As a bill, we go talking like that. That's one. And secondly, the money politics that we are talking about is no longer in existence. We know what took place in Edo State. They collect your money and vote what is in their mind. But beyond that, you cannot compare a military despot with an individual who we see as a civilian. A military despot use decree, while here we use law. In the state, edit, as the case may be. Why in the democratic is an act, as the case may be. But the point being made is very explicit, sir. Let's be factual. Our politicians, they are big problem. They are not working.
I will not surprise if you are saying that they are working there because you are.
Don't you think you're generalizing?
Hold on, I'm not generalizing.
You use our politicians, but some are working.
Hold on, okay, we see where did they work? I'm waiting for you to respond.
No,
You want to tell yourself.
You
listen to me, please.
On this platform, we don't generalize the politicians.
Okay,
I mean, I'm moreover also you are among the politicians.
Absolutely. And I'm asking you, sir, since you said some are working, can you tell me where? So let me ask you. I want to submit. You ask me. Okay. You ask me. Now, first and foremost, he talked about direct primary to select the people that will represent, so that the people will present. The question is, which of the direct primary? The direct primary that you will do, a politician will score 500 million votes, but in the election will not score 50. Is it the inflated result that we are talking about? If we are talking, the both of us are talking as a politician, or maybe you don't really know me. I am a deep-rooted politician, a grassroots one at that. Are you getting the point? There is nothing you will tell me in politics that I don't know. But politics, the more you look, the less you see. But there is nothing I'm telling you today, because I have played it. I know the game. Seriously. You may see old man with white beards, he have many, he get big belly, don't old, don't say a leader. He don't know this politics past we. So you can't tell us what is happening. Is it that primary that you're talking about, that the result is inflated when you go to the general election, the same person who scored 15 million will not get up to 500,000?
But they said that priority will take care of all this.
Hold on.
That's what he said.
Excuse me. Listen,
the members of the party.
Listen, that direct primary that you're talking about is a manipulated primaries. Even the direct primary. See, let me tell you. They will say, we knew what happened when we did primaries for President Muhammadu Buhari. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Buhari scored 500,000. What was the result in Edo State? What was the result, sir? I'm talking as a politician now. So let's leave that aside. You will discuss about that. I would not want us to go in detail. The reason is that in this country today, there is secrets in the hands of politicians that the citizens are not aware of. There are so many secrets. And it is difficult for you to break in to the selected cabal. But you know what? Nigerians will come in and neutralize that cabal. It's going to be a people-driven government. And the time to act is now. But the point is this, I know. Now he talked about freedom of speech under a democratic dispensation. Is there freedom after speech? In a democratic dispensation? Is there any freedom after speech? If you think I am lying, talk anyhow for this TV, they'll arrest you later. So it's not about allowing people to speak. If they finish speaking, is there anything like freedom after speech? No. So with all due respect, sir, let us not just go to those areas. Okay, you know, when those who understand the game is talking, and the other one wants to tell that man, say, no, not be so. It will result to this ulabalu. Right, so let's just forget it and make sure that Nigeria becomes a better place for us.
All right. Well, you've made a point about the reference to take care of all this, but they're insisting that there are some things that normal citizens will not see that politicians have access to. It's all about 2023 election, the zoning question. You've heard both of them expressing their views and opinions. On one part, they agreed. On some other parts, they disagreed. It's all about discussion. It's all about the way forward. Let's see what really happened if zoning really will eventually, have its way in the forthcoming election. Gentlemen, 45 seconds each, you summarize your point on this particular discussion, because we have something to talk about, talking about the preparation of illegal refineries. That'll be after this. So 45 seconds each to summarize your point on 2023 elections, and of course, the zoning question. Honorable, you go first.
Thank you very much. I think, like I said at the beginning, zoning is very important to help us to have peace in the country. It will help us for every segment of the country to belong to whichever party they are in, and it will help us to make sure that every segment, every tribe enjoy that privilege of having their person as a ruler when you talk of the history of this country. But however, such areas that are probably yearning or they are turned to provide such persons must be ready, put their house in order, and make sure that a good candidate is what.
You're talking about the southeast right now. Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Stan.
Zoning is very, very important, but to me, I want to be laconic and direct to the point. Nigerians must take over their country from the hands of some selected despots.
Wow. You came in too strong there. You came in too strong there. All right, well, you heard them. the opinions, their own. It has nothing to do with ITV, but they made sure the follows and regulations governing the airwaves. 2023 is just around the corner. And many parents have been talking about it. Go to the print media, you get to see so many things they're talking about on the print media, social media, even electronic. Everyone is talking. We need another time, another 8 years. It doesn't really matter as long as people can take Nigeria to where the other person is coming from. It doesn't really matter. Others are saying, no, it's our turn. Follow zoning. We have to do it this way. Bring it down to our region. How do you think 23 will pan out? Only time would definitely tell. We want to go for a breakable return. It's all about the fight of Insam Wike and of course also governors in the South region complaining about proliferation of illegal oil refineries. How does it affect you and I? We'll be right back. Don't go away.